A very wise priest, Father Dwayne, mentioned to me the other day that he kind of thinks about these first couple days of Lent, perhaps because of his experience as a teacher, as a sort of orientation, a sort of going over the syllabus as we head into the season of Lent. Even though we're into it, if you're like me, Ash Wednesday comes and catches us by surprise. And I heard some great advice from a priest who said we should think about these 3 days after Lent, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or after Ash Wednesday, and take each day to reflect on the 3 aspects of Lent. So take yesterday and think about prayer, take today and think about fasting, and take tomorrow and think about almsgiving. And today our readings talk to us all about fasting. And so we're going to look at 2 reasons why fasting is important. The first is it's easy for our body and our soul to get all out of whack. If we think about our body and soul like 2 Bluetooth devices that need to pair, fasting helps us get back in sync. Rather than our body and mind kind of going crazy, when we fast, we're denying ourselves those little things that help get us back in check. For example, we might think of fasting like not putting creamer or sugar in your coffee, or maybe turning off the radio on your way to and from work, or not looking at electronic devices after dinner, or getting rid of that app that is just taking too much of your time. What happens when we fast is when we deny ourselves those little things, when we say no to those little things, it's a lot easier to say no to those bigger things when they come along. For example, it's a lot easier to not gossip about that person that we really want to gossip about, or to vent in anger about something. Or it's a lot easier to forgive someone that we might have a grudge or resentment against. When we deny ourselves those little things, it helps our mind and soul to get back in sync to say no to those bigger things that come our way. The other important aspect of fasting, which we hear about in our first reading today, is that don't think about fasting just as something you do for yourself, as sort of a spiritualized self-help. Instead, we hear in our first reading that all of our fasting is meant for others. So when we deny ourselves those little things, that thing we're going to fast from this year, think about who can you offer that fast or that sacrifice for? Who is someone in your life who is maybe in need of healing or in need of whether that be physical or spiritual, maybe someone that you need to mend a relationship with, someone that you can offer that sacrifice for. It's a reminder to kind of get out of ourselves, and that fasting always has a communal benefit. It's not just for our own good. So as we today think about this great gift of fasting that we are also challenged to do during this time of Lent, think about how fasting gets our body and mind and soul back in working in sync, and also how we are called to fast for others. Because here's the great news. When we deny ourselves those little things, it becomes a reflection of God who gave up everything for us. Christ who gave up everything. As St. Paul says, even his divinity gave up for the sake of God. Jesus did not deem equality with God something to be grasped at, but yet humbled himself, obediently accepting even death on a cross. Christ who gave up everything, who emptied himself of everything. So, 2, may we, by denying ourselves those little things, by saying those many little no's, open ourselves up to the big yes of saying a better yes to God this Lent.